sick and tired of all these farm murders, and we are here once again in front of the American Embassy to show our disgust in our government that has now gone ahead with the approval of Section 25 yesterday. And we want the international community to take note that they are legalizing theft, ground, property theft.
We've had outreaches of over 17,000 South Africans expressing interest in becoming refugees in the United States of America.
No, are they all Afrikaans?
Well, to be honest with you, how do you test an Afrikaner? I've got an English name and an English surname, but I know if we start conversing in Afrikaans, you will hear that I'm a native speaker. I grew up Afrikaans, went to an Afrikaans primary school, high school. I'm a product of the Rand Afrikaans University. So, how are we fully going to define that? I don't know if they're all Afrikaans. Most of the emails I received were in English, and most of them were on behalf of their families. So up and above the number that I have mentioned, which is well over 17,500, we can time that by about 4 if we look at families and added family members. At this stage, we're estimating about 50,000 people reached out to us in the last 2 days, warm bodies that would like to move to the United States from South Africa. And that's shocking.
So that might actually be how many with their families?
Well, we're saying 50,000 with their families, because we're talking about a figure of 17,500 that have reached out to us. But there's no way of quantifying this. Further to that, this is honestly hot off the press. This happened at 5 p.m. US time on the East Coast that we got this news, or that this news broke. This news broke in South Africa during the nighttime of Saturday morning. So we've got no further information other than the executive order. We don't know how it's going to be implemented. What are the scale and scope of that? How are we going to define Afrikaners? That is all information that we are still waiting for. As the South African Chamber of Commerce in the U.S., we have reached out to the U.S. mission in South Africa. We wrote a letter to the Charge d'Affaires. As you know, the U.S. ambassador to South Africa returned early January to inquire as to the process that would be followed to firstly get South Africans onto a list somewhere, and then secondly, what would be the criteria? How would they adjudicate that? What's the process that will be followed to resettle South Africans to the United States? So at this stage, there's not much that we can share. We know that the impact's going to be severe, and we know that the overwhelming number that have expressed interest will only grow in the coming weeks and days.
Some are actually upset and don't want to be, say, what we Afrikaners, we're staying, we don't want to be associated with that. And as you say, other people see it as an opportunity. So people view it differently.
Well, I think what we have pleaded with our South African brothers and sisters is to at least maintain decorum and respect for one another. Both you and I are South Africans that are no longer resident within South Africa. And we should not denounce those that have got the desire to join us in other parts of the world. At the same time, we respect those that decide to stay because South Africa is an amazing country. It's the country of our birth. That is the country where we all would like to be. And we miss it every single day of our lives. Africa is in us more than what we are still in Africa. But we want to at least allow those that have come to a juncture in which they've said, our futures and our strategic direction does not align with where South Africa is at this stage. And a very easy way to explain it. I wasn't born in Nelspruit. I love to say that I wasn't from Nelspruit, but I was definitely born to be in Nelspruit. I came to the US.
Make Afrikaners great again. There was Walter handing out caps to all white crowd. Honey, Walter is a 52-year-old cattle farmer in the Western Cape province. He said, it is the first time we've seen in my lifetime. It's the first time we've seen in my lifetime that a foreign president stands up for the Afrikaner people like what we've seen him do. I'm referring to Donald Trump, of course. So So we have to support this. Now he handed out Make Afrikaners Great Again caps to the all-white crowd, which included bikers and black leather, fans of local Bulls rugby team, and farmers wearing traditional beige shirts and shorts with leather boots. Less than 100 kilometers, 62 miles from here, my uncle and aunts were brutally attacked, and my uncle died in hospital after being in emergency care for about 3 weeks. My aunt is still in a wheelchair. She's never recovered. She can't walk. She's got brain damage. 2 elderly people in their 80s. Okay, so that was him, which is very sad, very sad. You know, these are the terrible things that are really happening in South Africa. But don't make it seem like only white people are being targeted. Honey, it's happening everywhere. The crime rate is high, and they're not only targeting the white people, they're targeting all of us. We have white Afrikaners that are killing the illegal immigrants that they are hiring. We have white Afrikaner spouses that are plotting to kill their spouses because of money. So don't make it seem like, oh my goodness, black people are targeting the white Afrikaner. No, they're not. We don't have racial-based crimes, just crimes. Now, about thousands of people gathered outside the U.S. Embassy in Pretoria on Saturday, which is today, to show their support for President Donald Trump after he said, terrible things are happening in South Africa, the unjust or unjust treatment of the white South Africans is not okay, denouncing a recent law on land expropriation and murders committed against white farmers. 1,200 people took part in the rally, according to the South African police, honey. Now, in a country where whites represented a little more than 7% of the population, but owned 72% of agricultural land in 2017, according to, government figures, laws passed since 1994 aim to roll back the legacy of expropriation of black-owned land under colonization and then apartheid. Now, I think it's very important, black, white, Indian, yellow, green, colors, for all of us to go and read the Expropriation Act and actually understand the Expropriation Act. Now, people like Elon Musk, who is Elon Musk's father, is also crying about this whole entire situation. Now, we know he did mention on the podcast and Chill with Mechi that he owns the Main Lane land. So he's rich. I mean, he benefited. He is a direct beneficiary from the apartheid, and that's why he is denouncing whatever is happening now. He's hearing expropriation and he's going crazy. Now, I'm seeing boards, Make South Africa Great Again, Make Afrikaners Great Again. What are they talking about? Because for majority of South African citizens, which is the blacks, unfortunately whites are the minority, followed by other race, which is the black people, South Africa has never been great for them. Now, if you don't know the importance of the SABC playing Sarafina every year, this is why it is important to remind you, especially as a black folk, don't forget. Never forget. And unfortunately, Sarafina doesn't show everything, especially with the laws of the apartheid. Anyway, do let me know, guys, what you think in the comment section down below. Good luck to them, man, for protesting. Halala, congratulations. When are they leaving? Do they need help in packing, filling out forms? They must let us know. They keep saying they don't want to go. They don't want to go. They don't want to go. Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump. Unfortunately, Donald Trump is not the president of the world, honey. Breaking news. Donald Trump is only the president of the United States, and the only thing he has control over is cutting aid. Other than that, otherwise, unless, shame, man. Do let me know, guys, what you think in the comment section down below.